How you wanna ship you in a Buccaneer? One shot something like a Buccaneer. Diamonds on me shining cause a Buccaneer. Big spot defense Buccaneer. Feel go good with the Buccaneer. Want me shoot a killer like a Buccaneer. Buccaneer, Buccaneer, Buccaneer. One eye patch like a Buccaneer. How you wanna ship you in a Buccaneer? One shot something like a Buccaneer. Diamonds on me shining cause a Buccaneer. Big spot defense Buccaneer. Feel go good with the Buccaneer. Want me shoot a killer like a Buccaneer. Hello? Touchdown, but just scored. Who said Brady want to go? We don't like to talk, we show. Put him up with all my bros. Tailgate looking real slow. This ain't kinda we pose. Go Bucks, go Bucks, go. Nah, we don't wanna fight. Hit your heart like Mike, call him Devin White. Sue just got a sack on the quarterback. 13-14 on the left and the right. Going deep, big catches, it's a hell of a night. Throw return, keep return, ain't no running the bite. Let your team tight up, they don't know how to ice. Coach told me to get him in, I got him tonight. Shit, I'm just like, hello? Defense did it again. Looking like the Bucks win the win. Put the ball right in they chin. Coach tried to hold them boys back. Look like they blitzing again. I'm trying to run through the ball. Do anything just to win.
I believe the reason why they won the game, Mike, is that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense was outstanding when they needed to be outstanding.
Okay,
Skip, I didn't skip. That's what it comes down to. All this notion about, it's hard to beat a team 3 times.
Buccaneer. One eye patch like a Buccaneer. How you wanna ship you in a Buccaneer? One shot something like a Buccaneer. Diamonds on me shining cause a Buccaneer. Big spot defense Buccaneer. Feel go good with the Buccaneer. Want me shoot a killer like a Buccaneer. Buccaneer, Buccaneer, Buccaneer. One eye patch like a Buccaneer. How you wanna ship you in a Buccaneer? One shot something like a Buccaneer. Diamonds on me shining cause a Buccaneer. Big spot defense Buccaneer. Feel go good with the Buccaneer. Want me shoot a killer like a Buccaneer.
Uncle got a buck on his Bronco as I rock my pewter. Yep, on the street we got Brady. Heard it first on my computer. Hello. Defense pick up shooter. Hello. Sit back and enjoy this future. First show, let it go, innovate. Monday night prime time, who you see? That's right, bright lights, big city. We ain't sweat, we got plenty. First show, let it go, innovate. Monday night prime time, who you see? That's right, bright lights, big city. We ain't sweat, we got plenty. Get it.
Just be that deal, homie. My rookie year, I hit that field, homie. And this year, D ain't playing with it. Trust Brady be throwing that deal, homie. Offense, defense, specialty. Turnover, touchdown, recipe. Evans, Godwin, Scotty, Miller, Tyler Johnson, A.B. Hall of Fame fan like nasty. Bust back, now we jamming. Buccaneer, tell you. Daddy now, mama now, brother now. This is the auntie, your uncle, cousins. We both out, hello, offense did it again. When you hear them cannons banging, Buccaneers eating them wins. Hello, the Golden Grunt came to play. Surround the masses, sip your glass, sipping on the Kool-Aid.
Buccaneer. One eye patch like a Buccaneer. How you wanna ship you in a Buccaneer? One shot something like a Buccaneer.
Great morning, yes. Your boy MC is a MC. Yes, that was me. For the first time, Bezel Bone plays my verse on the Buccaneers track. Great morning, you're mic'd up on Monday mornings with yours truly, Michael Clayton. Thank y'all for tuning in. We're back for another episode of motivation, of education, whatever we got for you. We're going to give it to your ears today. Excited to get right into this thing, man. Coming in hot. I was 400 degrees this morning. Bezel Bone. All right?
Yes, sir.
400 degrees. Coming in hot.
400.
But we got here. All right? We got here. We're ready to rock. So yesterday, right into this thing, man, you know I like to kick off with what I did last night, which I'm on radio, Bucks pre- and post-game coverage on the radio, 620 WDAE. And sometimes it's late nights for me. Getting up on Monday morning is difficult, but I do this for y'all. So the first thing that's on my mind when I wake up is the Bucks football game because I had to cover. So let's just get into that. You know, the Bucks are 4-1. We haven't played our best football, and yet we still have a great winning record. Our team is starting to come together offensively, is really starting to really ignite and set fire. Defensively, we got some work to do, but things got better yesterday against the Miami Dolphins. Look, this is a team that we're supposed to beat. Because the truth of the matter is the Miami Dolphins absolutely suck, okay? They just sorry, All right, I'm just going to be honest. So when you're playing against a team that is not as talented as you, maybe not as well coached as you, have injuries, you're supposed to win the game. And you're supposed to win the game by a big margin. A lot of times, though, what happens in the NFL is you'll play down to your competition. And that's why they coined the term any given Sunday, because it doesn't matter who you're playing against or what they're going through. If you don't bring your very best effort to the table, things can go wrong. Football is a game of inches, okay? And those guys get paid just like our guys get paid. So at the beginning of the game, it was a toe-to-toe matchup. All right, 7-7, I think, at one point, 10-10 at one point. Everybody's looking like, wait a minute. These Miami Dolphins, the history of the Buccaneers have not fared well against rookie quarterbacks and backups. And Jacoby Brissett, I saw him in college at North Carolina State. I saw him running around Florida State. And I said, man, that young man is going to be a good talent. I love his poise at the quarterback position, and he's made something out of his career. Back up to Tom Brady in New England, very trusted man at the quarterback position, and he's kind of been a journeyman. But teams bring him in to be the starting quarterback when they're trying to hunt for the next young quarterback. And he's been to Indianapolis. Now he's in Miami. And I thought that he played really good, probably his best game since he's been in Miami, replacing the young quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. So at the beginning of the game, it was kind of, toe-to-toe. And then we began to stretch our lead out with our greatness, playing with our GOAT, the great Tom Brady. Now, in the pregame radio show, I call myself a prophet, self-proclaimed prophet, and don't judge me. All right, I'm not blaspheming. All right, and I'm not talking about a prophet as you would read in the Bible. I just spell it different. It's a prophet with an F-I-T, like money making a profit. Because when I speak about football, I know what I'm talking about. You better put your money on MC.
Put your money on MC.
Put your money down on MC. Now, you make a profit. All right, you'll make a profit, so you listen to the prophet. So the prophet disclosed to you what the score would be. I told y'all the score would be 17-42, I predicted. The score ended up being 17-45. I was 3 points off. I also predicted that Mike Evans would have a day, and specifically, keep your eyes on Antonio Get Down Brown. Oh, he gonna get down tonight.
Get down.
He gonna get down. I'm sorry, not tonight. Today. I said he gonna get down today. And that's exactly what he did. Both of those guys, 2 touchdowns apiece and over 100 yards. Okay? Prophet told you. And last, but certainly not least, when I close the show, I like to write a little poem. I like to make people laugh. I'm an entertainer. It's really what I am. I'm an entertainer. I'm in the entertainment business. All right? And I went out on the limb and I said the GOAT, Tom Brady, will beat the Miami Dolphins 45-17, and Tom Brady will throw 5 touchdowns. He will be a machine. I said it. Go back and watch the tape. And the prophet showed up right again. He threw exactly 5 touchdowns in the air. And so, can I get a little? Can I get a little? Come
yes.
on, man. Come on, man. Come on. Oh, man, we dropping the ball. Anyhow. Oh, no, it's late.
It's late, but I got you.
It's always late. But listen, man, we're rolling. Last week, I wanted to play y'all a video because I got a phone call by a rapper, a platinum recording artist rapper by the name of Mr. Servon. He is a recording artist for No Limit, Master P. If you didn't know, I'm from Louisiana, so I grew up on Master P and all of his artists and Cash Money and all of that. That's what we rocked. So I was a big fan of Mr. Servon, and the connection between the two is that Mr. Servon went to the same high school as Leonard Fournette. Obviously, a decade or two maybe before Leonard Fournette, but yet they went to the same high school. And at that same high school at St. Aug, they have a specific culture, kind of like we have at LSU. We're not doing too good this year, but we have a culture at LSU where we take care of our brothers. You know, you see your brother down, he went to LSU, you call him, you pick him up. And at St. Aug in Louisiana, it's a big sports school, especially in football. A lot of big name guys come out of St. Aug. And they have a culture there at high school, and it's really, it's really prestigious, and people take that serious when you're a part of that. When you're a part of that, what's the word I'm looking for? You're a part of that group, simply put. And so Mr. Servone gave me a phone call, and he said, "Man, I always wanted to meet Leonard Fournette in person." I said, "Listen here." He said, "We went to the same high school," and da-da-da. As he began to talk to me, I was like, "Man, listen, this is what I want you to do. I want you to record me a little video, and I'm going to send it to Leonard and make sure Leonard gets the video, all right?" And because Leonard wasn't really running the way that I felt that he should be running, partly due to he wasn't getting his opportunities because they're still trying to figure, at the beginning of the season, they're trying to figure out who will be the starter, whether it be Ronald Jones or Leonard Fournette. A lot of times we're a passing first team, so we get off on passing, and the running backs get neglected. I just felt like he wasn't his self, and he might be in his feelings a little bit because Leonard is definitely a guy who's always been at the top in terms of recognition for the position. So when you're not being recognized, you may feel a certain way. So I told Mr. Servone to, send him a video, or send me a video, and I sent it to Leonard. And Leonard sent me a message saying, "Man, I got the video. Thank you so much for that." And Mr. Servone was just kind of like, getting him crunk. Like, look, this is what you bout. This is where you from. You got the whole state of Louisiana on your shoulders, man. You got to represent. He started, the St. All colors are purple. And he was like, you from the proud purple, the power purple.
He was going deep.
He was going deep. He was going deep, but he was trying to get Leonard like in go mode.
Yeah.
And man, this was last week. Leonard was running that football last week, wasn't he? Ooh. And then yesterday, he did it again.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. So I just want to say a personal thank you to Mr. Servone for doing that for my LSU brother.
Mr. Servone, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You know who I'm talking about, Bezel.
I do.
Yes, sir. And, I like it when we're able to motivate our guys, especially my LSU guys who are on the team, subliminally. You don't hear about these things in the media. That's why I'm talking about it. But this is the exclusive of what goes on. So we're very proud about our team, what they were able to accomplish in the first quarter of the season. I believe that our schedule is favorable, and we have an opportunity to win out. I don't know if it's going to happen. I predicted that the Bucs will go undefeated at the beginning of the season, but I was only telling y'all what I thought. Okay? What I thought. So now when they start playing 3 games, then I had to tell you what I saw. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, I don't know. Based on what I see is not what I thought. And, I had a different perspective. So I got criticized. You said they would go undefeated. I'm not a fortune teller. I can only tell you what I think. But I promise you by season's end that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won't be that far off the mark from an undefeated season.
Mm-hmm.
Minimum, the floor says they'll win 13 games. Okay? That's still a lot of football games. If you've been a Buccaneers fan, you're very familiar with winning 5 games, 4 games, 7 games. Maybe 9 games if you're lucky. All right? So to win 13 at the bottom, the worst case scenario, we win 13, woo! We in good shape now. Culture's different. The tide has changed. And we rolling now.
Right.
But we could very well win 16 games. Anywhere from that number. 13 to 16 games. 16-1, 15-2, 14-3.
I like 16.
You like 16?
I like 16.
Sound
It's a
whole lot
good
better.
number. Yeah.
I mean, that just goes, it goes a little bit better with my undefeated wrongness.
Yeah.
All right. But listen, man, that's my little knowledge about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We rolling now. We got a lot of injuries defensively. I thought Richard Sherman played well. Jamel Dean, who we had some reservations about because of his injuries, because of his deer in the headlight looks at times. He came in and played really well. I thought that he's ready to go to replace our injuries. Carlton Davis, hopefully we get him back. All right, coming up, listen, I got a very special guest coming in to join me. He's a mentor of mine. He is a leader in the community. He's a former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, and he knows a little something about the game of football. And not only are we going to discuss, maybe a little bit deeper into what he sees into the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they got some interesting topics out there. My old coach, John Gruden, was in the media about some comments that he made. And we just may discuss that. I don't know. Got a little touchy-feely. Not touchy-feely, but it's a little bit touching to me, to my spirit, when I heard what he said, when I said what he said. Woo! We might talk about it.
Yeah, we got to talk about it.
We might talk about it. I don't like to spill all the tea. I don't like to give them all the tea.
Yeah.
I like to keep some tea to myself. All right? But we're going to get into these things. The great Jared Bell will be joining me in our next episode, and he's going to be with me throughout the show. So y'all stay tuned. You're mic'd up on Monday mornings with yours truly, Michael Clayton, and we will be right back.
Buccaneer. One eye patch like a Buccaneer. How you wanna ship you in a Buccaneer? 12 shots on me like a Buccaneer.
Cancer affects everyone, but minority populations are often hit hardest. Moffitt Cancer Center is working to address the barriers that keep some groups from getting the care they need. African Americans develop cancer at a younger age, have more aggressive cancers, and experience worse outcomes than the general population.
While cancer treatment is evolving with precision medicine, who is being left behind? We know for many decades that some groups experience a greater burden of cancer than others. We can prevent it, we can detect it early. It's very beatable when we find it early. I have worked with cancer patients during their treatment. All cancer patients have courage.
So my treatment was about 18 months. I had 3 cancers and 7 surgeries. But my son told me, like, Mom, you're the strongest person that I know. Moffitt saved my life.
During COVID-19, Moffitt is a safe place for your cancer care. Call now to schedule an appointment.
Hi, this is Angela Birdsong, and during the week, I'm affectionately known as the Medicare lady. Do not try to navigate Medicare without me. Please call me at 813-476-4837. I also do life insurance, and I will help people who are Medicare, Medicaid. Once again, 813-476-4837. 4837.
Call Ricky. Ask Ricky. You need medical or a lawyer? I got the man to do the legwork for you. We tried the other ones before, so believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking kids scared of Florida. Grab a pen of sundown. 184-361-RICK. That's 184-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, plus your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 184-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky is a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and giving you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
Too easy, baby.
All year I've been telling y'all, drink the Kool-Aid. Drink the Kool-Aid, cause the GOAT's in Tampa Bay. And we playing in the Super Bowl.
Buccaneer. One eye patch like a Buccaneer.
Great day. I used to host a show called Great Day Tampa Bay. But they were only paying me peanuts, Bezelbone. So I had to walk away because I wanted to be able to take my kids to school, all right, and not be held down for peanuts, all right? Don't be a slave to the workforce. I'm telling you, create your own thing so you can create your own schedule. And I believe that that's truly freedom, what freedom is, all right? Great day. All right, you mic'd up on Monday mornings with yours truly, Michael Clayton. Thank y'all for tuning in and staying with us. You can call the number on your screen. It should be on your screen, but if it's not, it's 813-444-9588. Today is your day. I want to discuss with you, the fans, the viewers, the listeners. What do you want to talk about? I have a very distinguished guest with me today. He's a mentor of mine. He is a role model. He's a leader in our community. And most of all, he's a former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, drafted the year I was born. Woo! And if you looked at his face, you would never know. 1982, I came out the womb, and the great Jared Bell was coming into One Buck Place, drafted in the 3rd round as a tight end, and he did some damage for 5 years, had a great career. And now his life after football is what we're going to get into today, and some other interesting topics. So please help me welcome the great former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, Jerry Bell.
Well, thank you, Michael. I didn't know that that was the year you were born.
The year I was born.
I guess it was a great year.
It was a great year, man. 38, about to be 39. 39 years ago, Jerry Bell.
Okay.
Can you believe that?
Yeah, it's been a while.
39 years ago, he was coming into the NFL, and he would pass for a 39-year-old, no more. But between, you just got to keep it moving. Just, keep that face moving so they don't see them grays. I got something to announce, all right? First time ever, all right? I had a gray hair pop up. My first gray, right there. And then my second gray popped up in my beard. I had to trim him because he was just standing out. Like a broomstick.
Yeah, they coming in.
Yeah, so I'm excited about my gray. Gray means wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
It means you're getting wise. So I've been in that. I've been reading a lot. So I guess God said, "All right, you earned your wisdom. Let me give you a string." I'm looking forward to more wisdom. But Jerry, let's get into it, man. I just take me back to quickly, 1982. It was a different time.
Yes.
Maybe we had grown in the country where black players in sports were highly. They wanted us then in the 80s, but there was still some things that you had to face as a black player. Did you ever imagine you getting the opportunity to be drafted into the NFL first and foremost?
Well, initially, no, right? But then as you go along through your college career, you start getting, you start playing well, they start paying attention to you, and then all of a sudden you realize, there might be a chance,
Yeah.
right? And then, you get through your senior year or junior years for you guys that leave early, right? And then you see there's an opportunity, and then when you get it, it's kind of I don't want to say surreal, but it's kind of interesting in that when you show up to a place where there's that you've got to compete for your job every day, and then every year they're bringing in 2 or 3 people to take your job.
Yes, indeed.
It's a different type of environment. It's not like you can just show up for work from 8 to 5 and you'll always have a job. You
can't go through the motions in the league. And you hit the nail on the head, and you said it's kind of surreal. And that was my first question, because when I walked into the locker room, I see Derek Brooks.
Yeah.
Though Warren Sapp wasn't, they later released him. He was in the locker room. You got Lynch, who was in the locker room. Simeon Rice, Sheldon Quarles, Rondé Barber, Brian Kelly. Like, you got all of these guys, man. Dexter Jackson, who was the Super Bowl MVP. And I'm thinking, like, yes, I was a first-round draft pick out of LSU. This is what we supposed to do in 2004. But I was like, do I belong? Like, I was kind of intimidated at first, my first few months here in Tampa Bay.
Well, in my moment, right, I walk in and there's Leroy Selman, and then there's Doug Williams. And I'm sitting down looking at my helmet, and Leroy's looking at me, and he says, have a super day, because you know how Leroy was, right?
Awesome man.
And I'm like, here's this NFL player of the year, defensive end that we grew up to fear, that we've watched, and he's telling me to have a super day.
The kindest man.
But then you go out there on the field, and it's a whole different story. It's a whole different story.
He led by example. So let's get right into it. You got 5 years under your belt in the National Football League, and then you have to make the transition at a young age into ordinary life, being a normal citizen.
Right.
So many guys have difficulty making the transition. That number is 85% of guys go broke after 3 years after they finish playing, no matter how much money you make.
Yeah.
That's an extraordinary high number, and it's all because guys don't know how to make the transition. How was that transition for you?
Well, it's kind of interesting because it's what you have to go through during that transition. If you've played 10, 15 years, 20, 30, $40 million in the bank, that's an easy transition. Now,
right.
Not as easy as you think because you still got to figure out what you're going to do. But with $20 million in the bank, I could figure that out. Right. But in our days, and then some of these guys who are only playing a year or two and don't really have that bank that they've spent their entire life trying to get to the NFL. So now they got there, and now they get hurt, they get cut, they're or waived, and they're no longer able to play. That's where the transition comes in.
Yeah.
Now, you talk about my transition. I went back to school. I had an undergraduate degree in computer science, went back, got my MBA while we were playing, worked during my off seasons. When I left, I went to work at IBM, but it was still a tough transition because, this game that we play, game is probably the best thing that's ever happened to us.
Yes,
and now it's gone. And so that transition from that standpoint it makes it a little bit difficult.
Yeah. So the game of football has changed drastically since 1982. It has changed drastically since 2004, since I was drafted. What do you see now in the difference between football of your day or football of my day into the football you see today?
I see players having a little bit more control over what's going on, and I say that from a standpoint of, you guys, and they don't want to hear this, but they don't practice as hard as we did, right? They didn't go through as much as we did, but that's because we were setting the tone. I guess we led the way.
But we didn't know.
And we didn't
Back then, you didn't know.
Yeah.
You only knew what you knew.
I hear they have 10 full contact practices for the entire year. And that was our first week, right? That was our first week, and so it's tougher. Our game, when we played, it was a little bit tougher. We were able to work a little bit harder. We didn't get paid as much. I think we had 7 employees with the Buccaneers at the time.
Yeah.
They may have 200.
Right.
I mean, things have changed. Things have grown. I see a lot of guys now that I played with, and they're like, wish they were born 20, 25 years later.
Yeah.
Because they'll see somebody making $8 million that, does he deserve that much? So the game has changed. It's higher pay, more specialty. But that's how it goes. I think every game has done that. Every league, every team, every sport has changed over the years like that.
Well, we wouldn't be in the position. I wouldn't been in the position to get paid the money that I made if it wasn't for those like yourself who came before me. So thank you for your efforts and setting the tone and all of that. In college, you can always go back to college. That will always be your home. Once you make it to the NFL, you are part of their royalty because they get to brag about the players that they put out. But when you get to the pros, you're not always promised a family like that. You may get released, you may your career, you may retire, and then you don't have the same access as you do in college. How has that transition with the Buccaneers organization been for you, and have you still been able to be a part of a lot of the things that they do in the community?
It's been on and off over the years. I mean, there are times where they've had programs to where they've had the ambassador programs. They brought former players back. We've had alumni weekends, things like that. And then there's times where we haven't heard from them in 5 years.
Yeah.
And it all depends, I think, on how they look at us. You look at a former player who might be the general manager, I will bet you that team takes care of their alumni better than folks that who haven't been playing or haven't been involved like that. And I don't think it's a matter of not wanting to do it as much as it is we got other things on our mind. We need to win some games. And, the Bucs for a while, like I heard you earlier, right, 5 wins, 6 wins.
It was bad.
It wasn't great. So, I think now that we're on top and everything seems to be going well, I think they need to reach out and do some more things with some of the former guys, and not just the guys that are in the Hall of Fame or won Super Bowls. Right. Because I see them everywhere. They do show up and they do some things with some former guys, but I think they can do more.
Yeah.
And I look at the teams across the league and what they're doing, and we're not even doing half of that. But.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. When you have a voice, you got to speak.
Yeah.
And I can speak for myself that. I didn't have a Hall of Fame career with the Bucs, but they have been intentional about making sure that I've been a part of the organization. Maybe it's just because I was a current player, 2004 draft. the people, the organization, the people who are there with the organization maybe are not there today and they don't know that history. But that puts something in my brain because I just spoke with the organization yesterday, had the great opportunity to speak at halftime on the field on the Jumbotron yesterday at the game. So I know the people who talk to, so I'm going to make sure that they understand how former players feel because that's important. You talked about our down years. See, it was the former players during the down years who helped keep this organization popular. Because it was us who they called on to go shake hands with the suite holders and go do autograph signs for the fans. You know, when people don't want to come to a game, it's still a unique situation to meet a former NFL player.
Right.
And we filled those shoes. So you're exactly right, Jared. We need to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to make sure that our organization is supporting all of our former players, just not a select few. I'm glad you mentioned that. Well, I'm going to put that in the repertoire, and I promise you, I'm going to speak up for our guys. We're going to take another break and pay some bills. Y'all hold on. We'll be right back.
The GOATs in Tampa Bay, and we playing in the Super Bowl.
Buccaneer. One eye patch like a Buccaneer.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
Hi, this is Angela Birdsong with Tampa Bay Politics. And not only can you catch us on InTouchNews.com every Wednesday at 11 a.m., we now have a website at TampaBayPoliticsPodcast.com. We are on Apple, Google, Spotify, and Stitcher, which you can log in at any time and listen to Tampa Bay Politics.
Call Ricky. Ask Ricky. You need medical or a lawyer? I got the man to do the legwork for you. We tried the other ones before, so believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida. Grab a pen or sundown. 184-361-RICK. That's 184-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, plus your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 184-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky. It's a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and getting you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
Too easy, baby.
You know, all year I've been telling y'all, drink the Kool-Aid. Drink the Kool-Aid, cause the GOAT's in Tampa Bay, and we playing in the Super Bowl.
Welcome back. You mic'd up on Monday mornings with yours truly, Michael Clayton. I'm here with the great Jerry Bell, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer of the 1982 draft. Third round pick, 5 great years in the NFL, and now he is a leader in our community. And I want to do this right in order, because every great man has great support behind him. And I know that every time I see you out in the public at the community events, that Miss Ruth is right there by your side, pushing you to be great. So we sometimes, last week I talked about 10 things men need. 10 things men need from your woman, okay? But, you know, before we get into any other thing, and I'm all over the place, I know, but I want to do this in order. Give me something that's been special for you in your years of marriage that have helped you be your very best self.
Well, we have seen, and it's funny because people will ask when they find out how long you've been married, right? And it's 37 years now, right? And they'll ask, well, what's the secret, right? And you talk about communication, right? It's just talking about things. And I think we're both intelligent people. We understand, right? I mean, you know who's wrong and who isn't. Right?
Yeah, I definitely know who's wrong when I argue with my wife and who's right.
So why argue, right? And the other thing too is support, right? I mean, we make mistakes.
Yeah,
we do things. We do or don't do things that we're supposed to do.
That was number one on my list. Support. Number one.
And to be able to support you, to have confidence in you, to kind of help you through things.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and we've been a good combination of that, and I think that's kind of helped along the years.
And I don't mean to pry, but I like to be transparent on the show. All right. Well, if you pick it, the most difficult thing you had to face in your marriage that y'all had to overcome that really taught you how to be a better husband. And he's such a good man. I was like, Jerry ain't never did nothing wrong.
No, it's just, do you want to put your business out there?
Yes, Jerry.
Do you really want to do that?
Absolutely, you want to do that because no, not everybody is like that. So I didn't mean to pry, but I like to be transparent because everybody can learn something. I mean, in marriage, I think it's pretty across the board that everybody goes through pretty much the same things, but yet it's very difficult to talk about.
Right.
And that's the hardest thing. Do I want people in my business? Well, the reality is I've learned that when you get things off your chest and you talk about it, oh man, it gives you confidence to communicate. If I can communicate with the public about my problems, I doggone sure better be willing enough to communicate with my wife about our problems.
Well, I'll tell you what. Your next guest, when you ask that question, have a sofa sitting over there so they can lay down.
And some tea. And some candles. And some candles. Some spa aroma going.
Yeah, aromatherapy.
And some woosah moment.
Yeah.
All right, so Jerry, you've I've mentioned you are a mentor of mine. I look up to you about your success, life after football, and your efforts in the community. One thing specifically is the Black Leadership Network that you created at USF. My wife's a doctor at USF, so we are proud, a proud family of the USF family and extremely proud of what you've been able to accomplish. But I want to educate our listeners and our viewers about exactly what the Black Leadership Network is and how did it all start off.
Well, first of all, I won't take all the credit, right? So there's a couple other guys, Edna Rain, Andrew Frazier, that Ashley Butler, we worked together as a group to form the Black Leadership Network. And in fact, the individual at USF that helped, Luz Randolph, is now at LSU.
Oh, okay.
She took a job over there. So, but that's the LSU tie here, I guess. But we came together to decide that our students, African American students, needed a boost, whether it be financially, developmentally as a student, as or professionally. So we have an organization that provides scholarships, provides professional development. We're working towards internships, studying abroad, some of the things that'll help enlighten and improve the academic experience of some of our African American students up on campus.
I have to ask because out of nowhere, years ago, I get a call. I don't have the number programmed in my phone. And the voice on the other end was a very soft-spoken voice. And he says, hey, this is Leroy Selman.
Yeah.
Was he a part of that organization, or was that something he was a part of, or he just was being a good man calling me because he became my mentor before he passed away? And I remember that. I'm trying to connect the dots here.
Wow.
Yeah, no,
and
Leroy.
He was a pillar at USF.
Yes, he was. And he went up there and he was very instrumental in starting the football program and then becoming athletic director. But he's never strayed away from being Leroy, right? Always strong in the community, always strong to his beliefs, and always strong in his friendship to other people and even folks that he knows or doesn't know. He's the type that you looked out and you saw somebody needed some help, you just called, find out how you could help.
Yeah.
And that he was an outstanding individual. We miss him. He did leave too soon, obviously, but God has other plans.
God took an angel, man. He was a great man. You mentioned that you went back to school while you were playing, and you worked while you were playing.
A different day.
A different day. A different pay grade when you got to work when you're working. And that is commendable. But it all paid off because you have your own IT business, technology, information company that I definitely want to discuss and learn more about. And kudos to you for, setting yourself up. So many guys, I was drafted early and I didn't finish my college degree. I got 19 hours. I did go back to school. I completed 60 hours. I got 20 hours left. I went to Florida College. Shout out to Florida College. They're tremendous at Florida College. But I wanted to graduate from my alma mater. That always was special to me. Yeah. And I started having kids. I started to work. And I just never had the time to go back for a semester for months at a time to leave my family. I still to this day have never been able to figure out how to do that. COVID has created some unique opportunities that is actually possible for me now. But talk about your technology information company and what it is that you do and how did it all get started.
Well, first of all, I can help you with that.
Okay.
Getting back to school and getting a degree. We'll talk about that later, right?
Hey, everything happens for a reason, baby. That's why you communicate.
Communication is the key.
Right? That's why you talk. Put it out there in the airways. Somebody gonna help you out.
So I got undergraduate degree in computer science. I went to school when I was playing. I went to class. I at the time, and I don't. This may sound like I'm bragging, but I was the only senior to graduate, right? Out of all the seniors in our class, and
that ain't bragging. That's a fact.
That's a fact, right? It was interesting during those days because the focus wasn't on academics. I went to class. I had mom and dad that said, you don't get 3.0, you don't play.
Right.
Scholarship or no scholarship.
Right.
So I thought that was interesting because I was the only one that had that. All of my other teammates were wondering why I was getting up at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock to go to class. But I've got an undergraduate in computer information systems, so I came out here, was drafted, started playing, and I've always knew that your body's not going to let you play football forever.
Yeah.
I played 5 years and got hurt, fractured, dislocated ankle, broke a leg, 3 surgeries, couldn't play again. So I went to work and took my degree. Went to work at IBM, and so I'm in the IT space, and instantly I'm a programmer, right? I'm not one of these sort of
That's where the money at.
Well, but when I walk in there, they're like, former football player, we're gonna take you to sales.
Oh, okay.
Right? We're gonna move you over because you can get into certain doors, and so I've been in sales the whole time, right? And then I got to the point where, and to be honest with you, I'd like to say that. I went off and started my own business on my own, but I got released.
Yeah.
And let go. Well, I say released. They don't say released.
Fired. I tell people when I'm speaking in the group, I said when the Bucks fired me, I want y'all to feel my pain because
you got fired.
Released. There's that's gentle. Yeah. You got waived. Oh no, that's gentle. No, you got fired.
Yeah. You got told. We don't want you.
We don't want you no more.
Yeah.
And now you got.
And that
happens
in the business world.
Yeah.
So that happened to me, and I decided I'd go ahead and do what I was doing for somebody else for me.
Yes.
And just happened to be able to take a couple customers with me, and things went well. So it was good. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, in that, I want to stay on that for a second. Creating a business for yourself because. My life changed when, I'm in media and I'm traveling to New York or Chicago twice a week. I'm going to New York to do media. I said, man, I'm tired of traveling. I got kids. I want to do local media and see where that takes me. There wasn't enough money in local media, and they want to keep you all day and pay you minimum bucks. And then a company that I invested in years ago, my business, Green Tiger, we took off 7, 8 years ago. And it was life-changing when you have your own business. And I had a great friend who built that business up. And now we just opened up our second location, Green Tiger, Tampa. And, if I don't want to get up out the bed, then I don't have to.
Right.
I take my kids to school. I go home. I can maintenance my house. I can take care of business, open mail. Simply because I can run my business on the phone because I've created relationships. You go down to the store, you get what you need. They're going to put it on my tab. I'll go in later on the week and I'll pay off my tab and all those things. But creating your own business has been life-changing for me. Have you felt that, hey, man, this is really the way to go? If you want to have real freedom, you need to invest in your purpose, which is probably a business that's already in you.
Right. Well, and not only that, you're in control, right? So you control what happens during the course of the day, but you're also in control of your success or your failure.
Right.
So now you can't look at somebody looking over your shoulder or some other co-employee or this and that. It is you who's basically going to be determining if this business is going to be successful or not, based on your hard work, on your knowledge, on your contacts, on everything else. So it gives you a different, you're not waking up going to 9 to 5 thinking that here we go again. It's just another day.
Yeah.
You're waking up with like you're fulfilling a passion, that you're able to do what you want to do for yourself. And that's a great feeling,
To be a person of color, a lot of people make excuses, in my opinion. The world is not like it used to be. We still have a ways to go, but there are so many opportunities out there for people of color that sometimes I just get aggravated where people try to still, in 2021, try to play the victim role. Now, I understand that there are some roadblocks. And when we get back, we're going to finish this topic of discussion because I felt like it was about to get real deep. It's about to get real deep on Mic'd Up Mondays, but we're going to take a quick break.
Too easy,
We'll be right back. Y'all hang in there with me. We're almost done.
Y'all drink the Kool-Aid. Drink the Kool-Aid, cause the GOAT's in Tampa Bay. And we playing in the Super Bowl.
Buccaneer. One eye patch like a Buccaneer. How you wanna ship, you ain't a Buccaneer.
You're nodding your head and tapping your feet. In Touch Radio will be right back.
Y'all be playing some of the best music I ever heard.
With more of your OMG jams, we're In Touch Radio.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
Catch my show that will be all up in your business. Let's Talk Business with Cheryl J. Couso. Every Wednesday at 12:31 p.m. My business experts provide insight for business entities and entrepreneurs. So join us every Wednesday from 12:31 p.m. to 1:31 p.m. at www.intouchnews.com. Catch my show.
Hi, this is Pastor John T. Warner, Foundation Fellowship Christian Church. We are super excited. The date has finally arrived this Sunday at 10 a.m. at the Holiday Inn Express off of Bruce B. Downs for our inaugural worship service. A couple of things you might want to know: that we will adhere to all COVID-19 guidelines and masks are required. But we're super excited that you will be joining us. Tell a friend, bring a friend, but most of all, meet us there at 10 a.m. at the Holiday Inn Express off of Bruce B. Downs for Foundation Fellowship Christian Church inaugural worship service. God bless you and look forward to seeing you there.
Too easy, baby.
All year I've been telling y'all, drink the Kool-Aid. Drink the Kool-Aid, cause the GOAT's in Tampa Bay. And we playing in the Super Bowl.
Thank y'all for staying tuned. You mic'd up on Monday morning with Michael Clayton and my great guest, Mr. Jerry Bell, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer. We were just getting into a topic of discussion about, being a person of color. And, I felt that sometimes a lot of people try to play victim. It's hard out here. And I know what they're going to say. MC, you played in the NFL. You famous. It's easy for you. Well, I've done a lot of things in my life where people don't know who I am, and all it took was courage. All it took was, motivation to get out there and do it. And doors were still open to me when people didn't know who I was. So I do know that we live in a different times where don't pass judgment before you know the situation at hand. I understand that there are a lot of roadblocks in this world. All right, I don't think that that's ever going to change, but the world has changed to where people are not judging you based upon the color of your skin. And if you already passed that judgment, you just might miss out on an opportunity. Jared, just compliment, speak to that. I know, Jared. I know Jared probably one of the ones, man, don't say that.
Well, you look at the fact NFL players, right? We both played in the NFL, and we both had opportunities that a lot of folks don't get.
Right.
But we still have had situations where, because of our race, we were treated differently.
Yeah.
I mean, when we were coming up, when I was playing, all the guys coming from black colleges drafted on the same level as those from other colleges were paid less and told that and accepted that, right? So those are things that, you're a first-round draft choice. But guess what? You're not going to make as much as this guy here because of your color of your skin. And so, you look at that and you look at what's going on now with the concussion settlement, race norming. Because you're black, you're assumed not to be as on a cognitive level as somebody who was white. And that's how they've been judging all the players when they're trying to make decisions on the concussion settlement stuff. And they've come out and they said that that's wrong and it's corrected. So, we're on a higher level. I guess we're put on a pedestal, but we're still having to deal with those things.
Without a doubt. And just to kind of give a synopsis and a summary for those who don't understand what Jerry just said, when you play in the National Football League and you play 3 years, you become vested. And once you become vested, you get certain resources and disabilities. And you're put on a system where if I've had 8 surgeries, my body is aching, I should be able to go in and get some type of disability because the sport disabled me. I'm not functioning in full capacity. I'm 38 years old with major back problems, hip problems, toe problems, finger problems. I should be earning a disability check. What Jerry just said is that the NFL made a statement that they have always put black players and white players on different scales. And I don't know really what the terminology was, but if a black player had 8 surgeries on his knee, and a white player had 8 surgeries on his knee, same surgeries, they would say that the black person knees were already bad, and that the white person was. This is how stupid. How did you feel when they actually made that statement? Because I was like, man, I can't believe that they're admitting this.
Well, they're only admitting it because they got caught. Otherwise, this would have continued. Weren't they not? Was it if it didn't come out and all of a sudden these attorneys are calling them about this? Hey, what about this race norming thing? What, how are you considering this? Let's see the criteria. What's the report, the trial, whatever it is you did to determine this? We'd like to see it. All of a sudden they said, well, this isn't the right thing to do. We're not going to do it anymore.
Yeah, and the statement, and I gave you a physical example, which was a horrible example. The statement was more so made about cognitive function in your brain. So they were literally calling us dumb or saying that we all, we grew up with brain problems and that the NFL had nothing to do with the trauma that our brains are suffering in the game of football, whereas white people or Caucasians or non-black players, non-people of color, didn't have any issues because, they were put on a different scale. And so the deterioration with them was from football and football only. So they're more qualified. So that's a better understanding of what happened in the NFL. And I don't know where we are. Like, are more people or more players getting disability now? Or is this the start of something that is very different?
Well, right now we're in the stage where it's been acknowledged, it's been discontinued, so what's next?
Yeah.
And we don't know.
Yeah.
So will it lead to more players getting disability, getting concussion settlements, things of this nature? It probably will.
Yeah.
It probably will. They just have to work through it right now.
And if you were in a situation where you all are disabled and you can't work, then this definitely comes into play. You need to get what you are owed. But then there's the other side where, I look at a disability check and I say, man, they ain't even enough to pay my insurance. What am I doing with a disability check? I still got to grab my bag of bones, all of my aches and pains. I got to get out there and I still got to work because I have a lifestyle that I want to live. And so you also face with that. Like, can I work and get the disability check? Maybe not. I don't know. You could probably have to structure it in a certain way.
Well, it's they say if you're disabled you can't work, but but the bottom line was we are working. We are 60-70% physically disabled. I mean, we're not even going into the brain.
Right.
We're going into the the frozen shoulder, the knee that hurts when you get up, the bones popping all the time, the inability to run.
Right.
we're talking about those things now, and even though those things are in place, and every player goes through this, white, black, Hispanic, you name it, right? Every player goes through this, and so you think about it, well, maybe that's a disability that could come from the league that allows you to continue to still work,
right?
Because you are. But you hear that complaint, not the complaint, but the comment from people, well, you knew what you were getting into before you just signed up to play football, so why should they have to take care of you? And I'm like, why do you get to take care of?
Right.
So it's.
But that's a stupid, asinine comment though, because the reality is, no, we didn't know.
No, we didn't know.
We didn't know.
You're right.
And why would they tell you that you're gonna suffer tremendously in the brain if they need you?
Yeah.
We didn't know. All we knew is this was an opportunity to take us out the hood, or support mom and dad, or change your life altogether, change your community's life altogether, how they view people of color. Like, man, you can be successful. Like, we didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Well, and you saw what happened last night. Your giant quarterback. Did you see him staggering after getting hit in the head?
Yeah.
I mean, we used to look at that like, oh, he got his bell rung.
Shake it off,
right? Give him a little smelling salt, he'll be back in. But that just looked.
Does that wow you? The fact that because a concussion is a concussion. Concussions haven't changed.
No.
You get your bell rung, you got the same concussion that you had in 1982 is the same concussion that's alive and well in 2021. The only difference is how you handled it. And I remember learning about concussions, Jerry, when I got to the National Football League.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's a concussion? Oh, I thought that was just a headache.
What do you call it, a ringer?
A ringer.
Yeah.
I thought that was just a ringer.
Yeah.
Because I literally would say, well, I know I can't get hit in my head anymore because I feel this pressure and my temples are going to explode.
Yeah.
If I get hit one more time, like you can't even touch your head. So what I got to do? I got to tackle without using my head.
Yeah.
That's how we responded back in the day. Does it scare you? How we used to carry ourselves, and does it, are you happy that we have new rules that the game is?
Well, I'm happy there are new rules. I wish they were around when we were there, right? But it meant that you missed. I mean, right now you miss a game.
Yeah.
And in our day, you miss a game, you might lose your job. And so that was always you can't make the club in the tub, right? Things like that they would say that if you were hurt or injured, So it was a job saver for us to keep going back in there and trying to play. So.
All right, well, Jerry, we got 3 minutes left, and how do you feel about our team, our Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year, and where we going?
Well, extremely impressive, right? I mean, I don't think we can really be stopped offensively, although I saw the Rams do that. But we're playing real well.
Yeah.
I think the only negative sore spot we have is in our defensive backfield. And if we don't clean that up a little bit, I mean, we can beat Miami, right? We should have beat them 45,
dominated,
whatever, right? But we're not. Well, I'm not going to say we're not going to beat on somebody because we've got the ability to score more points than anybody. But if somebody runs up and down the field all day against us, then it'd be interesting. But it's an impressive team. I mean, Tom Brady. I mean, obviously, the best quarterback that ever played, and we're lucky enough to have him down here. But he's got all the weapons in the world.
Yeah.
I've never seen a team as talented from a standpoint of individual position. I mean, we got 3 tight ends that can start on any team, right? And they're backing up each other, and they're like, they're worried one of them gets hurt. Oh, we lost Gronk. I'm like, you got O.J. Howard and Brate, right? So, and defensively, right? Probably the best front 7 in the game. So, we're doing well. I mean, they've turned this program around. Things are going well. We should. I don't want to jinx anything, but we should win it again this year.
I definitely think it's possible.
Yeah.
How much time we got, Beelzebub?
We got like 20 a minute left.
A minute left.
It's Bezel. He call me. He likes to call me Beelzebub.
I give everybody a nickname.
He gives me an extra nickname.
For a good transition, because we're gonna be talking about this next week. And you say you have a daughter, right?
Yes.
I'm everywhere today. Give our young dads some just some quick advice about raising daughters.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Well. Yeah. Your daughters are emotional, right? And I haven't seen a father-daughter relationship that didn't really reside with that emotion and love, right?
Yeah.
And you watch them. I watch my daughter now. She's like, I'm walking up and down the aisle. She's like trying to to make sure I don't fall. I'm like, what is all of this, you know? But they feel like they have to take care of you, right? And it's interesting in that, you know, there's that father-daughter thing in that, you know, you got to show them love. I mean, it's you know, at the end of the day, you always wish that they find somebody like me.
Yeah.
You know, because I take care of my family, I take care of them, and they know that. And so I would just say, hug them, love them, and go from there.
Hey, listen, for the first time, my daughter got asked to a dance, so we're gonna be talking about that next week and all the emotions that came along with that. But Jared Bell, thank you so much for joining me on today's Mic'd Up Mondays. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, my pleasure, not a problem.
Thank you for your work in the community, and we wish you all the success. And you put something on my brain. I'm bringing it back to the organization. Hey, we got to take care of our former players.
Family,
all of them.
It's
family,
one
family, baby. Yeah. One love to all of our guests, our viewers, our listeners. Thank y'all for tuning in to Mic'd Up Mondays. We will see you next week. We out.
Buccaneer. One eye patch like a Buccaneer. How you on the ship, you ain't a Buccaneer. 12 shots on me like a Buccaneer. Diamonds on me shining cause a Buccaneer.